I am incredibly obsessed with HuskerDust, and there are so many others that are in the same boat. It's the most popular pairing of Hazbin Hotel, and it's not even close. Everyone is addicted to the idea of them being together, and these are the reasons as to why that is the case.
I'm not about to put on some show for these fucking chumps.
Oh, I will.
The dynamic is one of the first things you think of as to what makes a pairing very strong at face value. For Husker and Angeldust, the opposites attract dynamic is what is being used to pair these two together. Angeldust is boisterous, invasive, and pushy, while Husker is disgruntled, reserved, and also pushy. While both of them are seen as pushy, it's seen differently with the other traits involved. So when the two personalities collide, it is easy to see how the two play off of each other.
I ain't no actor. I can't memorize this shit.
Well, we could improv this shit, baby cakes. Rawr.
Whoops.
The two have the most memorable moments within the series for me because of how the show plays around with the dynamic of teasing and disinterest between the two. You can see that by how much push the two personalities have when they are focused on within certain settings. The cold reading scene is a perfect example of this, as both are taking it seriously. What made the scene stand out is that the duo was not focusing on the goal, but more so each other. Their dynamic got in the way of making a memorable commercial for the Hazbin Hotel, since it was used as a tool for us to understand each of the characters' personality and dynamics. And the clearest in both of those categories to me were Angeldust and Husker. It helps capture the attention of an audience and intrigues them when they see the characters together. Of course, the start of the dynamic can only take you so far in a story, so it needs to build and grow in order for those things to cling to the idea of a relationship, which is exactly what HuskerDust achieved.
Kitten's got claws. Meow.
And you! Don't get me started.
What built this ship to be everyone's OTP is because of episode 4, Masquerade. An episode where we got a deep dive into Angeldust's disturbing situation as a porn star and his horrible relationship with Valentino. We realized that a lot of his agency within the show is near non-existent. So how does Husker play into such an important episode for Angeldust? Well, he was prominently featured within the episode as an obstacle turned assistant during the downward spiral we witnessed Angeldust have. The dynamic we talked about earlier was finally cracking in the beginning when Husker called him out for being fake.
You know how much I'm worth? You know how many people would kill to have Angeldust come on to them?
This is where we see the dynamic shift in its development, with Angel actually seeming more defensive about how he presents himself. You can even argue that they may have swapped the way that they are pushy, and it presents how different the two took what they dished originally. Angeldust clearly, with everything that has been going on, couldn't handle the invasive questioning that Husker was giving. Meanwhile, Husker was able to handle the aggressive reaction of Angeldust much better, but he still had the inclination to want to help him. This puts the two at odds with each other once again and have a moment where the two finally bonded.
If I can ruin myself enough in the process, if I end up broken, I won't be his favorite toy anymore. And maybe he'll let me go.
Angeldust finally takes that moment to open up about his struggles to Husker, expressing his reasonings for the way he presents himself. And this causes Husker to then change his approach and decide to let his own walls open up a bit as well.
So when you're down on your luck, you turn to anything to keep you afloat, even making deals yourself. So I know what it's like to regret the choices made.
You can see the similarities of the situations they were dealing with while pursuing their respective lifestyles. Husker's story wasn't fleshed out as much, but you can understand the dangers that gambling can bring. You realize that they are two sides of the same coin. So going on this journey with the both of them puts the relationship into a much deeper meaning. having the bravery and courage to open up to each other and understand their respective predicaments and actually take the time to bond the chemistry we as the audience knew was going to happen is why Loser Baby and Poison are the top 2 in the bubbling under top 100 on Billboard chart. Masquerade as an episode made the two the most interesting when it comes to relationships. With the combination of building that structure between these two, it sparked HuskerDust to be the biggest ship everyone wants to ride on to the end. And with that, leads us to the final reason as to why HuskerDust is pushed very hard. And this is the potential of what is next for them.
I guess you have changed.
Hey, Charlie said live tonight however we wanted.
So pour me a fresh one, and let's get to living.
The one thing that carries the ship even further are those that love the relationship and actually express their excitement as to what will come next within the story. And there are plenty of avenues that this relationship can go that can get the ball rolling. The most obvious is the forming of the love triangle that include Valentino's obsession over Angel, an opportunity for Angeldust to aid Husker if he ends up cracking emotionally, and even a battle to be released from their respective soul-binded contracts in order to truly be free. The choices can be endless as a result, and since the demand of these two being an item is so high, I wouldn't be surprised if they do pull that trigger, and it will be the most satisfying moment when it does.